Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee. This is going to be my little contribution to Preparedness Month for September. And I've done several different scenario videos in the past, and I had somebody comment on one of those older videos recently, and they asked, what movies would be good to discuss for discussing different scenarios. Now, I have been doing this for quite a while. I've done it with both people online and people that I know personally. It's very easy to do it with, friends, family, neighbors. Um, if you have a prepping group, you can discuss this kind of stuff with your group. And basically what it is it's taking movies or TV shows, and you don't even have to take the whole movie or the whole TV show, and you can pull little segments out of that, and you can use that for discussions like, what if this happens? How would you guys handle that situation? And basically what it does is it spurs discussions. It starts people to open up their mindset and say, hey, what if this particular thing did happen? How would I go about handling myself in this situation? What if I was with somebody? And these discussions, like I said, these can be informal. They can be over the dinner table. They can be over, a beer if you're getting together with your group. They can be, with your spouse when you're, driving around doing errands. And I pulled a few movies out here that I've done different discussions on with different people in the past. It can be, DVDs like these right here, or it can be TV shows. It can be stuff on streaming services. There's a particularly good one on Netflix. It's called How It Ends. You're not really told exactly what happens, but there's a series of apocalyptic events that takes place, and these guys have to figure their way out of these different situations. Like I said, that's a good one to watch the whole movie. But other ones that I'm going to show you here, you don't have to watch the whole movie. There's just different instances in these movies where you could just watch the 5 minutes or the 10 minutes and then discuss afterward. Like Ronin. Ronin's a good one. Basically, they have to surveil this particular area because, of course, they're trying to... I am going to spoil the plots of these movies to make my point here, but these are all old movies. I'm sure most people have seen these. But Ronin, they have to steal this box, and they have to check out basically these areas that are hostile to them. So what if something does happen and you have to go into an area that's hostile to you and you have to find out some type of information for whatever reason? How would you handle that situation? Red Dawn's full of them. It's kind of the classic one. Living out in the wilderness, and somebody's running around trying to kill you. The Edge is another one that's perfectly good for discussion. Two guys stranded out in the wilderness. The one's trying to basically kill the other one, and while they're trying to not be killed by their environment, basically. There's another one. 1917. This is a World War One movie where these guys have a mission and one of them gets killed. What if SHTF happens and the person that you're with, what happens if they die? How would you handle that particular situation? World War Z is another one. It's full of it. I know that it's a zombie movie, but there's different things that take place in this, like the looting of the store, and then some kind of violence breaks out in that. How would you handle that? That was just a small little scene in there. You could just break down that scene and have a discussion with that. The Stand is another good one. The Stand, even though it's sort of supernatural, it paints a really good picture of what the breakdown of society would be like. What happens if there's not as many people around to run all this infrastructure and things start to break down, and then the survivors have to figure out how to get this stuff all back up and working. There's another good example. Contagion's basically the same thing. What if there isn't enough people around to take care of everything? We're kind of seeing that now with nobody wanting to work. There's not enough workers out there to take care of everything. So then that's snowballing into supply chain issues and disruptions and all this other stuff. I Am Legend, another good one. Just the isolation of that. What if you are the lone survivor in a situation? What if it's out in the woods? What if it's in a different environment? How would you handle, as time marches on, those mental things that go with the severe isolation? Live Free, Die Hard. The whole movie's basically a cyber attack on critical infrastructure. Another perfect example. And this could be broken down, into individual segments. What if there is no natural gas? Or what if there is no electricity? Or what if there is no banking system? Blood diamond's another one. Two guys that pretty much don't like each other have to get along to basically get out of bad situations. Also extremely feasible. SHTF could happen and you could be with people that you really don't like. How are you going to handle that situation? Here's another good one. Deep impact, What if the president does come on the TV, or, some other local leader comes on the TV, said, hey, something bad's happened and everybody's got to stay where they're at. The important people, we're going to call them up and they can all meet in this other area. The rest of you guys, you're just going to have to fend for yourself. How would you handle that particular situation? Heat's another one. Heat's got probably one of the most famous gunfight scenes in any movie. And basically it's a bank robbery that goes wrong and the gunfight spills out in the street and a gunfight erupts. What if you're just driving around, minding your own business, doing your errands, and a gunfight starts erupting on the street in front of you? How would you handle that? Where would you go? How would you hide? How would you egress out of that particular situation? That's a particularly good one to do while you're driving around and doing your errands. Like if you're with your spouse or some members of your family or whatever, you could be, doing this or that. What if a gunfight erupts at that particular spot? How would you could throw that out and bounce those, those different scenarios off of each other while you're out and about? Like I said, these are things that can be, discussed in a like a formal meeting if you get together with your groups, or they can be discussed online. If you're members of any online groups, you could just do discussions like that. You could have discussions with your family. You could have discussions with your neighbors, your church groups, whatever, in discussing this stuff. I just thought that this was something that I should throw out there that other people could use. Doesn't cost very much. I think most of those DVDs and Blu-rays that I got there are probably used that I bought somewhere anyway. It's simple, it's easy, it's a good way to spur discussions, it's a good way to get people thinking about how they would handle different situations and start coming up with ideas to possibly mitigate if those things would happen. Anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys get a little information and a little entertainment out of my videos, and this one in particular, give you some ideas to think about. Anyway, you guys have a good one.